SMS or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. You're welcome to Women Radio 91.7, the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. You're welcome. Welcome to the Full Breakfast Show. This is the newspaper review segment of the show, and I'm so delighted to be here with you. We're joined with our co-analyst this morning, and once again, Rose is joining.
Is that why you're so excited this morning? But happy
I'm excited to see you.
It's okay.
Rose is joining. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm good. Oh, you found your glasses. I'm so happy for you. Because on Friday you were just checking.
I've been trying to reduce my dependence on them, but I think I'm deluding myself because it's ridiculous.
I'm glad you're at that point.
Yes, because the last time I was at my opticians, they literally told me that in the next 6 months, I would need to even upgrade my current prescription. But I'm just like, sometimes you want to go out and look nice. And,
and you look nice in this meeting. How do you think I look nice?
And the funny thing is, when I was younger, I really wanted to wear glasses. So now that I'm wearing glasses, I'm just like, this is a lot of work. I'm tired. I don't want this.
At this point, be careful what you wish for. Because you just might have it.
Yes. This morning I was working. I did the breakfast show at the beginning without my glasses, and I was like, why are you punishing yourself?
Okay.
So I've had to go get them. Yes, so I'm wearing my glasses. How are you? How was your weekend?
It was good. Well, weekends are always short. But it was good. It was good.
Yeah. My own was busy. I started partying from Thursday.
Okay. Party from Thursday.
Yeah, I had a birthday. I had a birthday on Thursday. Then a friend celebrated his organization's 10th year anniversary. I went for that. On Saturday, I was out. Yesterday I went to church. But it was I enjoyed my weekend. I did. Okay, we're gonna go into the headlines this morning. Let's get into it. We're starting off with the Punch, which says Adamawa ADC gives Atiku ultimatum to pick membership card. Over to you.
Okay. Yes. The next one we have this morning is coming from The Guardian, and it says Nigeria risk 14.7 billion naira daily loss. Fuel crisis as Dangote and Pengasyn rifts deepens. And then another one says Otedola asks federal government to release subsidy panel reports on mask rail beneficiaries.
In the This Day newspaper, we have Ghana says Nigerians now know the difference. After Buhari, Tinubu. Now they want Jonathan back. Federal government rubbishes because everybody is having an opinion. That's okay. That's okay. We're all entitled to one, like we all have a Federal government rubbishes international claims of religious genocide in Nigeria.
All right, so that's from This Day. Let's head on to Daily Trust. Daily Trust, it says Dangote and Pengasyn feud. Nigerians oppose service disruption. And another one from Daily Trust says 2027, Jonathan will contest presidency, return to Villa, Jerry Ghana. This one must be really intense because having it on different dailies.
Yeah. In the Vanguard newspaper, we have federal government makes thesis submission mandatory for NYSC participants. Releasing withheld funds to sacked APC officials is abuse of power, says Oshun NULGE.
Okay, on Tribune, it says federal government summons Pengasyn. Dangote to reconciliation meeting on Monday. That's today. So let's see the outcome of this meeting. I think this is one of the things that we're going to talk about this morning.
Yes, yes.
So let's see the outcome of this meeting, hopefully, so that we don't have to keep queuing or we don't have to go back to queue.
Yeah.
Another one says ADC to Tinubu seeking UN Security Council seats misplaced as Nigerians die daily. Yeah,
In the
those are
premium times, in the premium times, we have Otedola sues ex-vice president's aide for 1 billion naira, urges Tinubu to release subsidy report. Also in that newspaper, we have Dangote refinery, federal government begs Pengasson, not to strike. TUC demands reinstatement of sacked workers.
All right, on the nation, 13 dead in Zamfara mine collapse. Alike deploys rescue team. I think I saw a picture of this. It didn't look good at all. It didn't look good at all. I'm hoping that they're able to do more and to avert such from happening in the future. All right, another headline on the nation says, release AIG. Imuhede's subsidy reports to unmask real beneficiaries. So Tedela urges federal government.
In the cable newspaper, we're going to be seeing a lot of Dangote because this is Dangote refinery. Pengasson's strike aimed at weaponizing hardship against Nigerians. Otedola, again, we've been seeing this one as well, to file 1 billion naira libel suit against Umar Sani, insists Zenon never got full subsidy under Jonathan.
Right. On pen pushing, we have Nigerian editors frown at abuse of Cybercrime Act by law enforcement agents. And then the last one on pen pushing says Abuja Kaduna train service to resume next week.
Finally, in the headlines this morning, we have Daily Post. We want explanations for $250 million investment from Glasgow. Edo PDP says to Opebolo. Finally, we have police arrest 30-year-old man for stabbing his grandparents to death. I think we saw this as well last week. Anyway, those are the headlines for today. We are joined by our analyst. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello, Fumi. Good morning. And how was the weekend? And Rose, good morning. How are you doing today?
Wait, Emmanuel, why did you come looking so serious? Like, see your face. What happened? This one you come normally. What's the issue?
Oh, am I looking too serious?
No, I know that you're preparing for Val, and I'm not going to ask you about Val because she starts to not ask you again. You just want to get it over and done with. But now you're smiling. That's more like it.
Okay, well, yeah, Val, and Val is just it's taking place on Thursday, so
yes,
we just have to get our serious face and get it done and ensure that it is the best conference for the year.
Oh shit. All right, we're gonna get into it. I know that Dangote is all over the newspapers today, but I decided to pivot before we get there, and Emmanuel was like, this headline. But at Women Radio, like, we know that we're talking about things that are affecting Nigeria and women. As we stand for women at Women Radio, I felt it was important to touch on this because this is something that's affecting the lives of women. And I mean, there's Thursday, we said women, we're more than half of the population, isn't it? And this is an issue that's affecting us really, really to heart, basically. It's from the Premium Times newspaper. It says, beyond the wound, Nigerian women bearing the weight of infertility stigma in Nigeria. After nearly a decade of trying to conceive, Fatima Audu has become the subject of constant gossip in her circles. I have been called barren more times than I can count, said Miss Audu, a 36-year-old teacher in a top Abuja school. It feels like I carry a scarlet letter wherever I go. In Nigeria, where women are often seen as the glue that holds family together, infertility is more than a medical issue. It also has is met not with compassion, but with suspicion, ridicule, and often rejection. After marriage, there's an unspoken countdown. In 9 months, first of all, that prayer, I don't like it for anything. Within 9 months, you are supposed to have a baby. And they never say a baby, they say triplets and all of that. And when that milestone, when the milestone passes without a child, you now begin to you begin to see people looking at your belly. In-laws begin to drop subtle remarks. Neighbors begin to ask, is everything well? You never carry belly, and things like that. Fatima Audi says sometimes, like, right, she used to be outgoing and social, but now she avoids gatherings where questions about children might arise. She recalls attending a cousin's naming ceremony a few years ago where a relative leaned in close and whispered, "Don't worry, your time soon will come. If you pray hard enough." Now, the World Health Organization describes infertility as a disease of the male, I'm going to say it again, of the male or female reproductive system, defined by the failure to achieve a pregnancy after 12 months or more of regular unprotected sexual intercourse. Data from the WHO estimates that 48 million couples and 186 million individuals are living with infertility globally. This report, based on data from 1990 to 2021, estimated that approximately 1 in 6 people globally have experienced infertility at some stage in their lives. In Nigeria, the exact figures are difficult to get, largely because many cases go unreported, but experts estimate that about 20 to 30% of married couples are affected by infertility. Then before I get to the weight of the stigma, so doctors will typically speak of hormones, egg quality, even sperm counts, and society rarely hears silence. What people see is a marriage without children, and this has caused a stigma to occur. Like, it's almost a blanket right now when there's infertility. Childlessness is seen as a curse, as a punishment, as a failure of you don't have faith in God and things like that. For women, it is seen as a moral failing, like you have failed as a woman. Emmanuel, as a man, as a man that you are, and we are one of our he for she's that we love dearly and value dearly here. When you think about, and I'm sure that you've seen experiences, maybe close friends or relatives, when this thing comes to mind, what do you think men, because I mean, even statistics have shown that in the case of infertility, 30% belongs to the man. Is the man that hasn't gone to check. There's always that whole, the man doesn't want to check because he thinks that it is a dent on his masculinity, because he thinks that he's just virile for the rest of his life, and there's nothing like infertility there. As a man, what would you propose that men worldwide do in cases of infertility? Like, how do you encourage them to say, look, you need to go to the hospital to check yourself, and things like that, and to reduce the stigma or the burden it places on women as sole carriers of the infertility gene?
Basically, first and foremost, I think we live in a society which puts majority of the blame on a woman when the couple is yet to conceive. And the truth is, the burden doesn't rest solely on the woman for the family not being able to bear forth a child. Well, based on our culture, we put so much emphasis that the essence of marriage is to bear children. But in truth, I ask myself, is that the true essence of marriage? We've seen couples who got married and decide not to bear children. Part of it is for, as clerics would say, companionship, for fruitfulness. But the fruitfulness depends on the interpretation you give it. I will leave it that way so that I won't cause chaos this morning in the religious circle. But basically, one thing that baffles me is when this infertility comes up, women bear a whole lot, and the stigma is on them, and the stigma is never on the man. Culturally, we believe that it's the woman that has not been able to bear a child.
Yeah.
But truth is, the woman might be okay health-wise. It might be the man that is not okay health-wise. Another angle is both of them might be okay health-wise, and they are not just conceiving. That is why they are advised before marriage. There's a lot of things you need to check out. There's a lot, we just know the genotype. I'm AA, she's AS, we are good to go. No, there's a lot of tests that needs to be carried out to see how compatible you are. There's what they call the Rixos group or something. If it is not compatible, the R group is not compatible, you guys might not be able to bear a child, or you might require treatment and injection to bear a child. But the good news about this is this thing can be cured, it can be treated, but it depends on you getting to know. If it is low sperm count, these are things that they can help you increase with medications and all. So it's the couple coming together to find out what exactly is wrong with them and finding a solution. Well, if you look at the figure, it suggests that about 24.2% of Nigerian couples experience infertility. And you look at the 24.2%, this is a very we're talking about primary infertility. We have secondary infertility also. After bearing a child, they are not able to bear another. And I learned that this affects about 90.7% of couples in recent case research. So after bearing the first one, they are not able to bear another. So when you look at the number of years, some for 5 years, about 15.7% of them for 5 years before they were actually able to bear a child. So you look at the numbers speaks a whole lot. But in the case of our country and our culture, the woman bears the brunt of it. And the stigma is quite high because we have so many on certain that it is not how fast, but it is how well you train a child. And when the child comes, it's going to be a blessing or a curse to you. So the truth about the matter is, I think we should stop putting the blame on women alone and ensure that men also bears part of the burden. Most times you look at it, they tell you the woman is okay. But because of the way the culture is, the woman still covers the man that is not okay to actually impregnate at that point till he is able to. And she bears the pain while you see the guy just moving freely. So I think at this point, because of the cultural expectation that we have in this part of the world, it affects our judgment. While we see man as a being that does little or nothing wrong, we often put the blame on women when it comes to infertility. And it's something that is not right. But there are a lot of ways to conceive. But the problem we have is, based on our economic status, other means of conceiving seems high for us. There is the IVF way. But how do you justify an economy that is on 70,000 minimum wage for an IVF treatment that is from 2 million upward? Where do they want to get the money? 70,000 minimum wage. If you calculate that, that is about 840,000 naira annually. How do you want to avoid IVF? Even if the first shot doesn't work, you have to pay again to go. So you look at the economy doesn't even help people to seek alternative way of getting a child. And also religion and culture also don't help. I'm a firm believer in God, and God has granted me favor and grace and mercy in life. But the truth sometimes is we go to him and we trust him. And I'm not saying you should not trust God, because we've seen people trusted God and God answered them. But hear from God and believe in him. But if at the end of the day, you are not getting it, there are legit ways. I'm not saying outside the scope. You still bear the egg. You still take everything. There's a way medical doctors will explain to you. And it's an option that a lot of people have taken. Even now, we live in an environment where some people don't want to carry their baby. They do surrogacy. They do surrogacy, and then another person picks the baby up for them. So I think it's about exposure. Technology is there to help us discover. But the woman has been at the receiving end of this, and this has to stop. What I would say last is the fact that there has to be a lot of sensitization on this. See, people that don't have knowledge perish. And when the knowledge is about infertility, we're not saying that I'm not a medical practitioner, please. So I'm just saying it generally. So before people will start thinking it's a medical doctor that is speaking. But the truth is, I'm just speaking from the moral side of it because I'm not qualified to speak. I'm not going into details of health stuffs you can do.
Yeah.
So, but the truth is, I think what must change for us is, I said, awareness and education. That's sensitization. We must actually sensitize people. And then number two is we must provide better access and quality healthcare. One of the reason why this persists is the fact that for some, it's just minor thing that needs to be done. It's just a drug that needs to be administered that would increase the count of the spermatozoa. And for others, it's just an injection that will aid you. But because there's no better access to healthcare, most people, especially in the area, perish because of this. And we don't have a lot of experts on this. Then people need psychological support, not you asking them, 5 years, you've not given birth to a child. If you ask that kind of question beside me, I can tell you, Slap, I'm a very calm and cool person, but there are some questions I believe passes logic. And if you are very intelligent and you are smart and you have sense of reasoning, there are some questions you don't ask. Instead, in your own bedroom, you say a prayer for the couple. Not coming in public to ask them questions. And then I think there has to be policy and legal reform in our health sector to ensure that was. And I've mentioned I will just rest my case on this matter, but we need to sensitize people that the woman needs to stop bearing the brunt of the couple not having a child. And we need to stop putting stigmas on them and start making them feel less human. Because this thing gets to them. Someone that is going through a lot, we do a lot of verbal abuse. When you do verbal and emotional abuse, I want abuse that I can't tolerate in my life. When people who do physical abuse, we know they are verbal and emotional abuse. And if you have experienced them, you will understand how this works. They work with your psyche. And
I know that was very, very, measured, and loved that take. Rose, you have any thoughts before we go to the next headline?
Oh yes, it could be a lot. I remember in my second year of marriage, one lady is just where I was working before. She just told me, Rose, when are you going to give birth? I just looked at her. I said, the day you get married is the day I will give birth. Because she was unmarried and we didn't even know what was going on with her. And there were so many rumors of some of her escapades that she was doing. And she was asking me that question. I was like, the day you settle down to get married, maybe that's the day I will give birth. And since then, she just went quiet. So it could be a lot for the woman. And sometimes we just mount unnecessary pressure on women to actually go about with this, and it's not fair. Funny enough, I think, was it last week or last 2 weeks, I was reading how when it comes to maybe carrying the baby safe, being pregnant and being able to sustain that pregnancy, it all has to do a lot more with the quality of the sperm that comes from the man. So I think, like Emmanuel said, information is key. Let's be able to understand these things a lot more so that maybe we'll be able to, I think this is definitely, worth talking about. And I just hope that, people get to understand better.
We can move to take the second one.
Yes, because this one is full of drama.
Yes. Is it me or do we have no, we don't. No.
Okay. All right. So this is about 6 minutes to 8 right here on your Women Radio WFM 91.7. And this is the newspaper review on the Full Breakfast Show right here on Women Radio. My name is Rose and I've got Fumi with me this morning. You can follow us on our YouTube page. Go to our YouTube page and watch us live because if you want to see our faces, we're just there. Monday morning. You can just go over and see us. Okay, so this one is the drama that's been going on all through the weekend. Dangote Pengasin,
Okay.
and it's been quite a lot, and I'm sure that Emmanuel has a lot to say. So Pengasin are now coming to say that they want to go on protest because of the dismissal of some employees at the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. But a lot of Nigerians are coming to say why. Can it pay why? Why do you now want to come and put hardship on Nigerians? So you want us to go back to queue? And for the fact that we have Dangote Refinery, which is supposed to be a relief to the masses, now
Yes.
all of you are putting a lot of bottlenecks. What is actually going on? Can we allow this thing to just work as it should? What is the problem? They say you now want to go and start going on protest just because Dangote, sacked some Nigerians and now employed many Indians inside, in their company. So why is Dangote doing all of that? But Dangote is saying that no, it's just a few workers we had to let go just because of efficiency, because we want the company to be better. So we had to let go of some people. And Pengasin is saying that those people that you let go is because they are part of our union or they want to be part of your union. That's why. So there's a lot of drama going on there. And then Pengasin is saying that they are going on they're going to protest this, they want to go on strike and blah blah blah, all of that. And my own is, why must we also resort to strike? Do we think that this is the way to go? Do we think that is that the only means? Because you going on strike means that Nigerians will not be able to access fuel. You going on strike means that the prices of fuel might actually increase. You going on your strike means that a lot of Nigerians cannot go to work to earn their living. So what exactly is the point of this strike? Just because of what is going on within Dangote? Is there not a means that we could sit down and meet ourselves in the middle ground? But we thank God that they've called them for a meeting today. So hopefully that is resolved pretty much soon. But with all of this and the way Nigeria is going, is this what we need at this point? Can't we just allow maybe Dangote walk out and see where it leads us to or where it gets us to? Emmanuel.
Well, I think for to
Your prayers
get
refuse to be
get
answered.
get involved
That's why
in
that's
these
why
things.
that's why I decided to ease you into it. I felt like, because the way you came this morning, I was like, do you know what? Let's find the one that will bring your blood pressure down.
So let's just speak to the fact. I want to try and speak to the fact because we have to balance everything we say. And as much as Dangote has his own side, Pengasin also they have their own side. Don't forget that Pengasin is coming up on board. We still have Peng and Dangote pending. It's still on. So it's going to be a whole lot for the Dangote refineries right now because he has done what a whole lot of cabals didn't expect him to do. And when you have people, strong men who have held down the oil industry in Nigeria for years and are trying to break through, you should expect this. You don't go into a strong man's house and then ask him to surrender for his share. No, you have to fight for it. And you know why I'm so happy the way they are fighting for this? The way Dangote himself is doing press conference. I mean, I've known Dangote for years. Doesn't do press conference, doesn't sit down. But this is a $20 billion investment, which operates at the free trade zone, and it will not allow anybody to sabotage his investment. For Pengasin, they have fought on Kaduna, Warri, and Port Harcourt refinery. But this is their first time, basically, in Nigeria that they are fighting a private refinery. So the rules are different. They've always dealt with NNPC and all. They can hold them hostage, get what they want. But this is a private individual.
Yeah.
Don't forget, on this platform, I spoke about the fact that Dangote doesn't have rights to stop people from joining unions,
Yes.
any trade, as long as it is a recognized trade unions. So if they are saying that 800 workers were sacked by Dangote for joining Pegasin, they have a legal ground there to approach the industrial court to get those people reinstated back, because you can't be sacked. Because we have the Trade Union Act, we have Section 40 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended, and what is it called? We have Section 9, sub 6 of the Labour Act, which prohibits employer from compelling a worker either to join or not to join a union. Joining a union under the constitution is voluntary. So if the truth is 800 workers joined Pengasin and they were fired, they have a grant to do that. Don't forget also that Nigeria has ratified the international ILO conventions 87 and 89, which gives you room to join an association. So when you look at this, I think at this point, it is not about joining the union at all. Because one of the stuff I learned caused the crisis because that Pengasin asked Dangote to pay some money for a lot of staff who have been part of the union, and Dangote said they are not aware of that. So there is a miscommunication, a misgap where an employee joins a union and doesn't notify the employer. Because see, there is a deductions in thousands amounting to millions every year that is being deducted from every Pengasin staff that goes to the Pengasin office. And the question is, what have they done with the money? Part of their cry is the fact that I think let me use the Owomonile so that people understand that they collect on every truck that loads fuel from the depot. But don't forget now that Dangote is the one loading the fuel himself and distributing. Those kind of funds will not go to them again. So you look at the kind of fight they are getting is the fact that at this point we are torn between a man who has put an investment down and a group of people whose antecedents don't speak well for them. With due respect to Pengasin, let me say, when I think sometimes last year, Mele Kyari's NNPC said Port Harcourt refinery were working. Some of us were shouting, Port Harcourt refinery is not working. Pengasin woke up and said it is working. Where is Port Harcourt refinery today? If Pengasin are saying that they want a stake, they want to be part of, no, you can have your union within Dangote to protect the rights of workers. So that Dangote will not wake up one day and let 2,000 workers go, 5,000 workers go when they have done nothing. And when the company is having a clean slate financially. So this is where the dilemma is. Is Dangote refusing people from joining the union? And is it based on people joining the union that Dangote has sacked the workers? That's the question. The number two thing is, did the workers join the union without informing Dangote? Question. Another question. Another one is the fact that is Pengasin really fighting for the right of Dangote, the right of their workers, or they are fighting because they have no control over Dangote refinery as they've done to other Nigerian refineries? Another question is Dangote trying to stop sabotage of his investments? Look at what is happening now. Pengasin declaring nationwide strike, asking people to shut down services. Do you know if they shut down services, it's going to affect gas, it's going to affect electricity generation? This is like holding a nation hostage. The fight is with Dangote. There are legal frameworks to address this. So I think it's the fact that employees willing to join the union should be allowed to join the union. We have law, what is it called, that allows people to actually join, and employers are advised not to interfere with internal affairs of the union. So the problem now is it is a whole lot, and we are just seeing it on the surface. See, number one is there's not going to be any fuel shortage or any fuel crisis because Dangote is a private business entity. Still delivered fuel over the weekend. Let me tell you, Dangote has strategic reserve that he has fuel stored there. So one thing Dangote would do to see, it's about him fighting for survival. And what he's going to do this period is going to ensure that there is proper fuel distribution. See, he's a businessman, he's thinking wise, he would have foresee all this kind of drama. Because at this point, his refinery must stand. And where the dilemma is the fact that Pengasin will feel that, and other, the TUC is saying that they will join the strike. that other trade union groups also would join in solidarity with Pengassin. Because the way they are viewing it is the fact that that's why it says it's like elephants fighting, and clash of ego, business, and clash of control is what we are saying. Trade union are looking at it at this point that if Dangote do have his way, that means other private enterprise can take a clue from Dangote and exclude people as their membership, and they will not have the kind of oath they have. Dangote is fighting this now so that he can have control. Let me tell you something. Do you think that if Dangote goes into steel today, steel workers that did not make a Jakuta work for years will wake up and they tell you they want to unionize? When have you heard about Steel Workers Association before?
Yeah.
They have one dormant association. But let Dangote let Dangote or Tedola Ilumilo, anybody goes into steel production now, they will come on board. And I asked myself the question, how has Pengassin helped us as a nation with oil production? Don't forget that this same Pengassin opposed the Petroleum Industrial Act that would deregulate the downstream sector because it doesn't favor them. See, my concern with unionism is the fact that I support union. I spoke in favor of people being allowed to join union. That was, we're talking about Nupeng then, and I spoke on this platform that people should be allowed to join. It is their fundamental human right of association, as long as it is a trade union recognized. So what we're saying is the fact that Pengassin is trying. What we're saying is the fact that Pengassin is trying to hold all of us hostage based on their fight with Dangote, which ought not to be. And in any similar when strike occurs, for example, I think in 1970 in the US, when there was postal service strike, soldiers were used to military were brought in, National Guard, to distribute letters. It happens in the UK, it happens in Canada, it happens in South Africa. So when they are saying they are downing tools, I think at this point, what we should be doing is military, they have every aspect of it. We can't keep an economy that is trying to enter a $1 trillion economy and be having this kind of issue where we are shutting down our main source of revenue generation. So at this point, we can only call on sense and logic to prevail. But I asked some basic question that I have not gotten answer for. I asked, did Pengassin have a sit down with Dangote to discuss this? Did they have a sit down and discuss this issue with Dangote? Have there been a meeting between Dangote and Pengassin to clarify why these workers were sacked? See, it is good for us to clarify why we have mass sacking. It is good because if we don't stop it, it keeps happening. So the question now is, were there meetings? Dangote denied that they've not met with Pengassin at all, that Pengassin has not had a sit down with them. They said the fact that Pengassin is pushing out, it's not correct. And Pengassin are finding themselves in a new terrain. When I say new terrain, they've always fought government, but they are fighting a private individual now that also a lot of money for his own PR. So this is now what we are saying. And I think it's very good that the federal government has called both to order, that they should come for a meeting. And let's see what will happen after this meeting. But I think there has to be a midpoint where Pengassin and Dangote meet, because see, unionism is good so that we can have balance in our society. And I've always spoken about checks and balances in society. This is what makes society works. But if we don't have checks and balances in the society, then we are going to have serious issues. While we acknowledge the role of Pengassin and also acknowledge the role of Dangote as a businessman who is profit-oriented and is there to make profit and will not allow any sabotage, I think we should also be careful while giving Dangote his flowers and also saying that because workers join a union, they cannot be sacked. It's you violating their fundamental human rights. So I think at this point, it's going to be a long journey for Dangote, and I hope that it just finds that balance so that this can kick off. And I'm also sensing external factors coming in. Don't forget that Because of Dangote refinery, a lot of small refineries in Europe have been shut down. So it's going to be a long war for him, because as not, he has found himself in a terrain that he hasn't fought before. And these are strong men. Only strong men are into the oil business. These are strong men. And he's trying to disrupt a whole lot of sectors, with him coming to play not on a small scale, but on a large scale, which gives a whole lot of people headache. So what you're saying now is you go online and then you see Tedola also tweeting up and down based on this. And I'm like, so the high and mighty also can feel the brunt of doing business in Nigeria. Now for Nigeria, whether if Dangote refinery surviving would show whether a lot of investors will have faith in investing in Nigeria. Because a $20 billion investment cannot go down the drain. So this is why some of us are saying that let Dangote refinery works. Let's see what Dangote refinery has to offer. Let's see how he has helped us. Now, do you know why all these fights coming to Dangote is the fact that, as at this point now, what we'll have been seeing is, there is fear that Pengassin will go on strike. You will have seen fuel price jump from the 875 that they have now to about 1,400. And then when they are done with the strike, it comes down to 1,2. It stays there. They go on another strike, it jumps to 1,5. So because there are a lot of play and there's competitiveness now, some are finding it hard to exploit Nigeria. You saw the price war between Dangote and NNPC itself that took fuel down to 825 at one time. Dangote drops it, NNPC drops it. What we know in time passes, NNPC drops and independent marketers also drops. But Dangote was dictating the drop. So it's a whole lot of fight when you look at it for Dangote. And as I said, I was hoping I was not going to get into this conversation because it's actually a whole lot. And you have to find a balance for people to understand what is going on. Because see, Dangote is a businessman. He will not act based on emotions. He will act on protecting investments, protecting investors, people who have dropped money for that refinery. He will act on the projection that we can repay this loan at so time. So he's working with time. He knows what he's working with. And it's a whole lot for him. Don't forget, even the NNPC said they cannot supply him fuel at one time. That he has to import the crude oil, the crude is going to use. So for Dangote, it's a fight for survival. And the survival of Dangote refinery will show whether investments will thrive in Nigeria if others put their money down or not. We have a lot of rich people in Nigeria, a whole lot. We have wealthy people in Nigeria, but their money is not in the country. They just live a lavish lifestyle in the country, but they are not investing. How many people are they giving employment to? We might want to give Dangote knock that is trying to monopolize the sector, but I always tell people we need to fight against monopoly in the sector, but at least it gives people employment. How about the other rich men who lavish their money in real estate outside the country and take it from Nigeria out there? So it's a whole lot now. I can only hope that for the meantime, sense will prevail between Pengassin and Dangote. But it's going to be a long ride for Dangote. This is just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to see a whole lot more fights because it's disrupting the flow of things. And that reminds me of a section of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's book that said that when she introduced measures in Nigerian Ports Authority at the ports for revenue collection and harmonized it, a lot of people fought him and they even locked him out of what's it called? Presidential Gate of Aso Rock, based on the fact that she introduced a measure to ensure that revenue is harmonized. So we have a lot of cabal that has been holding the country down. And because they are profiting from that sector, they don't want change. And let's see how Dangote is able to disrupt their flow. But while Dangote is disrupting their flow, we should also be careful so that Dangote himself doesn't turn into a one-man cabal in the oil industry that will haunt us in the next 20 years.
Okay. All right, this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7, 14 minutes after 8 on this side of the radio. We can go ahead and take some calls. So to be a part of it, please dial 07000 917 917. You can also dial 09155 917 917. We'd love to hear from you this morning. Our WhatsApp lines are 08155917917 or 07031756537. Those are the numbers to get in touch with us this morning on the program, the newspaper review on the Full Breakfast Show. So I'm sure we'd have some messages that would want to
Yes,
go
we
through.
do. Yes, we do. Excuse me. Yes, we do. This one, Olushoga Ajayi from Odonla Ikorodu, he says, one funny thing is that unionism never helped the 3 refineries we have in this Nigeria after spending trillions in maintenance. Same unionism is here shouting up and down because one man wants to take food out of their mouth. Well, this country, Nigeria, cannot remain like this. The country has expired. The country has expired. No, we have not expired, I beg. And that's why
Not at all.
and that's why things can't go well anymore. I mean, Olushoga, we understand how you're feeling, but we have not expired. God still there for us. We're working. Okay, this one is from Mayor in Kotuengbe. He says, good morning to you all in the studio. This country called Nigeria is is designed to fail. How can you as an organization like Pengasin and our 4 refineries aren't working, and billions of dollars and naira have been spent without results, and the so-called Pengasin is nowhere to be found. Federal government denied attacks on Christians. What else do you want to hear from a government that always manufactures lies like sellable products to her citizens? Muslim tickets is one of the plans to turn Nigeria like Turkey. All of them not really putting the people as top of mind, because that's why you are there. I know that you always talk about how we are the ones that have the power, that citizens are the ones that have the power, or the ones who get to, decide who we want to put in power. But is it because the citizens are
in in the workforce? And it's not only in Nigeria that you've seen people down to. For example, the NHS in Britain, they've down to so many times.
Yeah.
So when you are trying to fight for something and government doesn't listen, or the employers don't listen, downing tool is one of the methods whereby you get people to listen to you and have a conversation at the table. And when you look at downing tool, it's something that has worked in time past and is still working. But when you want to down tool, for example, if Pengasin has a hold on Dangote refinery, what they will have done now is they will have down to in Dangote refinery and operations would have stopped. This is one thing Dangote is trying to avoid. So because they don't yet have that hold on Dangote refinery, that's why they are calling on other sisters, members, union to join, so that when they down to, the others can put pressure on Dangote refinery. So this is what they are trying to do: put pressure on Dangote refinery to negotiate with us, basically on our own terms, not on his own terms. So all what they are doing is just to get Dangote to the table to have that conversation with them, tell them we are going to be paying so amount for your union. Don't forget, the amount they get that is deducted and paid to union is not a small amount. They rake in billions. That's what I was telling them.
Okay, we have a call. Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Women Radio.
Good morning. Thank you for calling and joining us
Good
this morning.
everybody.
Okay, Evangelist.
Yes, I listened to what Emmanuel said, and I quite agree with him on what I said based on Dangote. Although we don't really know what is happening between Dangote and Tengas, but we should not allow Dangote to look at Dangote. And some people are saying, I don't even know where is cheaper outside Nigeria than Nigeria. Even when Dangote make and we get trying that should bring all this. So we should not allow him to monopolize everything. Union is to on Jonathan coming back. I don't really know. Well, if that is it, let him come. We will vote for him. Let him. That is own choice. But on woman infertility, no true Christian will always blame the wife. Even now, Even the wife went and brought a guy that brought his mind. So it's a thing that is have plan, maybe have a plan B, either maybe need to adopt a child or one thing or the other that is legally, not illegal something. God will allow it. So you should not blame your partner for infertility. And anybody that do that is not a risk. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.
All right, thank you too for calling this morning. And he just, added his voice or lended his voice to some of the things that Emmanuel has said this morning. So Emmanuel, I don't know if you just want to react to
an issue with Dangote, go and resolve it. Get him to the board to talk. I don't care how you get straight out to the board to talk, to have a conversation, to protect their interest, but they also want to protect their interest. So but the question is, don't hold the country hostage, because there's a fine line between that balance and turning to terrorism. So I think at this point, you can't holding people hostage is an act of terrorism. And holding a whole lot of, do you know the small businesses that would suffer as a result of you stopping that supply to a lot of Gencos?
In fact,
There's going to be a whole lot of small business that cannot thrive on alternate power source, or the alternate power source cannot power their mansion, and they rely on electricity to do that. We have a lot of SMEs that are just coming up. So I think we need to think in this country, if we are to reach the $1 trillion economy that President Tinubu said is taking us to, because all these kind of shenanigans cannot take us anywhere. So we need to think like a functioning society, a society that has forward-thinking people, not people who are still living in 1920s. A society that should know that this is digital age, and we left the era of a whole lot of revolution. So these are people we need in power, people to think, and people we need in leadership. Let's see how the meeting unfolds today. But I believe that sense would prevail between Pengassin and Dangote. Because when you talk about the oil sector, Pengassin, Nupeng, all these people, they are a power. So even if you are bringing up your refinery today, Rose, they will fight you. These are people that want a stake. But the question is, how have they managed? Because they are senior staff, not even the junior staff. Pengassin is for senior staff. My question is their management. Yeah, how have they managed, as I round up, how have they managed the four government-owned refineries that we have? Is it got 3? Warri, Port Harcourt, and Kaduna Refinery. How have they managed it over the years? If they can give us an account of how they've managed it, we will carry placards with them to Dangote Refinery to go and protest that we need them there.
All right. So Fumi, over to you. I don't know if you have any other message.
Today, like Emmanuel has said, we'll wait until everything unfolds. With that being said, we have come to the end of the newspaper review program for the Full Breakfast Show today. We'll catch you same time tomorrow, 7:30, for another edition of the newspaper review. My name is Fumi Bangwala.
And of course, my name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. Do have a pleasant week ahead and stay with us right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, for nobody.
You can keep it locked.
I should have bought you flowers.
You are.
We are WFM 91.7. ọ̀rọ̀ mi dàpọ̀ aláǹgbá kò fẹ́ jẹ ní tútù kódà kó jẹ dá àìnà tán gbé tí ń jẹ wọ́n ẹni jà aláǹgbá ń dúdú àgbààgbà. Nobody